Welcome to Unity of Wilmington's virtual program today. What a joy to be with you. Whenever it is, it's your right and perfect time to be with us. My name is Reverend Nikki Golden. I'm one of the co-ministers. Reverend Mindy Tucker is the other co-minister. She will be doing the lesson today. Our vocalist is Heather Setzler. We're excited to have her. And we have a guest pianist, Jared Arceo. What a joy. What a joy to be alive today. What a joy to be in the world today and be able to be the radiant beings that we are in this moment. I'm going to invite us into a moment of prayer as we begin. We give thanks for the very essence of life, that we are able to open our hearts and connect with each other, whether we're together or in a distant place. We give thanks that we're able to know our oneness as we tune into our divine nature. We give thanks that we are here, present, being the frequency of love on this planet, and that as the frequency of love, we know that we are truly making a difference. We simply need to let go, to stand in our faith, and to live as fully and as passionately as we can. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen.
Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. You have all you need, it's all inside of you. Just close your eyes and breathe, and know that you are safe. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery.
The white tiger, Mohini, came to the National Zoo in Washington, D.C. in 1960 when Dwight D. Eisenhower was President of the United States. She came into the zoo and was an immediate sensation. Crowds by the droves came to see her and witness her power and her presence, her grace. And she spent most of her time pacing back and forth in her 12 by 12 foot cage with the concrete floor and cast iron bars. But because of her star status and the overnight sensation that she became, the zoo began a massive project to create or recreate the habitat that Mohini would have had if she had remained in her natural environment back in India. So after a good long while of construction of several acres of forest and hills and a pond and so much more, Mohini was released into this new space. And do you know what she did? She went into the corner and she began to pace in a 12 by 12 foot square. Mohini continued this caged behavior for the rest of her life until she died in April of 1979. Many years before Mohini was even born, the great poet Rainier Maria Rilke wrote this: "Most people come to know only one corner of their room, one narrow strip on which they keep walking back and forth." So it's not just tigers, it's people too, who seem to realize that they're confined to a space, a 12 by 12 or a corner, when an entire beautiful expanse is out there waiting to embrace us. So why don't we break out of that confine? Well, because we're trained and conditioned to stick with the familiar. We're trained and conditioned to follow a pattern of behavior. We're trained and conditioned to step into expectations that people, other people, or other energy dictates that we do. When there's this big, beautiful expanse waiting to embrace us. And why do we do that? I think it's because we're afraid to leave the familiar. We're afraid that if we do leave the familiar, that we're going to fail, that we have forgotten as a collective what our oneness with God is all about. We've forgotten as a collective that we're created in the image and likeness of God. We have forgotten as a collective that if God is good, then we're good. And God is certainly good, so therefore we are certainly good. God is whole and complete, therefore we are whole and complete. Many of you may be familiar with the captivating work of Joseph Campbell and what he articulated about the hero's journey and how he went back and he looked at ancient stories, Greek myths, and he went from Greek myths all the way through George Lucas's Star Wars, and he said this is what a hero's journey is like. There's a pattern, there's a behavior, there's something that's in all of us that's called to be this way. Now, I don't want you to think that this hero's journey is only for men, only for Harry Potters in the world, or practically any Denzel Washington character. It's for women too. Think about Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, or Elizabeth Gilbert in Eat, Pray, Love. It's a journey. Unity is a metaphysical movement, and we look at our life journey, we look at the hero's journey metaphysically. And metaphysically, that means we're every person, we're every character in the story, and that we're every part of the story, even the inanimate ones. We're every part, because metaphysically, that's who and what we are and how we're made up and how life changes. That's what metaphysics is all about. So I ask you to keep that in mind in looking at this diagram. So we are the hero that has the call, that urge, that impulse to do something different. And so we are also the mentor who guides the hero. We are the threshold which the hero needs to cross. Think about that for a moment. Then we are the helper who gives the guidance. We're the hero who recognizes that the guidance is for us. We're the hero who has trials and has learning and soul growth experiences. Taking those skills, we're the hero that applies them to our belief systems. We're the belief system that has to die, that we have to let go of in order for a rebirth to occur, for new ideas to come in, for new thoughts to form and to latch onto in our minds. We are that hero. We are that rebirth. And then we're at one mint, where we remember that we're one with all that is. And when we come into that recognition of our oneness with the divine and all that is, then we re-enter the known. Now, the known hasn't changed at all, but we've changed. And what has really changed is our ability to see the known differently. We see the known differently. Bob Savio in Kansas City, he's a writer and he's an artist. He says, every day you are signaled and summoned to embark on a journey beyond the boundaries of all you have ever known. You need only relinquish your fears, open your heart, and begin. This summons, this signal, call it what you will. It's a sign from God. It's a message from the universe. It's our inner guidance. It's our intuition. But it's a call to be joy, to be peace, to be love that is sounding all the time. The signals and the summons are like a siren that never ends. It's like a whisper from spirit. The call, it pulsates and it pushes us. It's that urgency, it's that generative urgency that something needs to be different. And that different, that something needs to be is us. And it's sounding and the bells are ringing and they're all going off. And we're called to go beyond the boundaries of all that we've ever known because this call is so insistent. It's like all of a sudden we've woken up. We've awakened to a bigger version of ourselves than we knew we were. But we're not quite sure what to do with it. We're just not quite sure. But we've been signaled and summoned to go beyond all we've ever known. And then we look outside and we go, wow, what am I supposed to, how am I supposed to be in this great unknown? Maybe what I'm supposed to do is attach myself to an image of something that I've been told is important or something that I've always wanted but not quite articulated. Maybe it's something I've been conditioned or a pattern or a lifestyle that I've been invited into or that I think I'm supposed to be into. So we get attached to these images. Images like, everyone is supposed to have the perfect parents who have provided them with unconditional love and have given them and never give them unrealistic or warped expectations about what our personal potential is supposed to be. And then we're supposed to grow up. We're supposed to grow up and we're supposed to find a source of money that's going to meet all of our wants and needs all the way through retirement. And we're supposed to be skinny or we're supposed to be muscular and our hair is supposed to be perfect and our skin should never know acne. I'm telling you, these are attachments to an external image because we haven't done the internal spiritual work to answer that call that's driving us to wake up. Now, if the events of 2020 haven't invited you to wake up, it's the biggest wake-up call we've had in a long time. Think about it. The pandemic, the isolation, the fires, the hurricanes, the tornadoes, the political events, the economic events, Black Lives Matter, Police Lives Matter, all of these lists go on, seemingly endlessly, because there's something in us that's called to be a greater expression of what we are right now. But our fear has turned our mind in one of two directions, and sometimes it goes in both. Sometimes what happens in our mind is we have thoughts that attach to an image of how we didn't measure up in the past. So we go backwards, or we go forwards to an image of what we think we should be attaching ourselves to, because we're obviously not that way now. I'm not skinny enough. I'm not muscular enough. My hair's not just right. And, the skin has known acne. So it's like, wow. Then eventually I'm looking at, like, how can I in the world manage to produce some children who will love me unconditionally without any undesirable or warped expectations that will judge my parenting? It's like we are so caught up in the past and in the future. That's what seems to consume the thoughts in our minds. Decades of research shows that we think about 60,000 thoughts a day. That's not news to a lot of people. 60,000 thoughts a day, and 95% of those thoughts are unconscious. That means 5% of our thoughts are conscious thoughts. So if we were to do the math, that means 3,000 of our thoughts every day are ones that we are consciously paying attention to, that we are directing our mind to, and that other 57,000, they're just running on autopilot, or they're running in loops, they're redundant, they're habitual, whatever they're doing, those 50,007 other thoughts are doing. New research from the Queen's University in Canada in July says this, that we only have 6,000 individual thoughts a day. So let's do the math. That's 95% unconscious, habitual, redundant. We don't pay any attention to them. And a mere 300 thoughts that are driving our conscious actions, our conscious decision-making. 300 individual conscious thoughts. In Unity, we know that thoughts and feelings are the directive energy that we can apply to create our experiences of whatever conditions are going on in the world. Our directive energy are our thoughts and our feelings. Thoughts and feelings held in mind produce after their kind. What we think about, we bring about. So today, my invitation is not to go chasing those 5,700 individual thoughts that are unconscious or habitual, because what that does is just generate more of them, and pretty soon it's not just 57,000 unconscious thoughts that we're having over and over and over and over again in our day. My invitation to you today is to look at those 300 individual conscious thoughts and capitalize on them. Capitalize on them so that we can use our directive energy to create an experience of our known and unknown world that supports our highest good, that supports an expansion in our consciousness, that allows us to be mindful and questioning about whatever it is that's waking us up. Leverage those 300 conscious thoughts to bring our coherence within us to our wholeness. Wholeness is our divine nature. It's actually our natural state. Wholeness isn't something that we go out and find. Wholeness is something we own. In that hero's journey, the hero doesn't go out and say, wow, I found myself, I found this gift. What the hero's journey is all about is discovering what's already inside us. And that's what makes that hero's journey so frustrating. It's like, why did I have to go out there and do all that if what I really wanted to know was already here inside? But somehow that's the way life works. Somehow. And we can use our 300 conscious thoughts to leverage our experience so we don't have to spend so much time in the unknown. How amazing is that? How powerful is that? How powerful are you? How powerful are you? You need only relinquish your fears, open your heart, and begin. What is fear? What is fear? Fritz Perls says fear is excitement without the breath. Excitement is that tingling we get when we know we're on the brink of something big, something bold, something, wow, that's going to just like change our life. So what if fear was merely an indicator that was just a gauge to say, hey, you've got some excitement going on. You better breathe. An indicator, a gauge. It's like a waving flag going, guess what? You're smack dab in the middle of a life-changing, life-altering experience. A waving flag is so much easier to embrace. Thank you for the message. And then relinquish. It was like, you've done your job. Fear has come into your life, come into your awareness, come into my life, come into my awareness. It's waved, and we can say, wow, thank you for sharing. I'm so glad that you've caught my attention, that you've helped me wake up, come into an awareness that I am on the brink of owning my own wholeness. Fear. What a feeling. What a feeling. What a feeling that can be really overwhelming. Sometimes when I'm really overwhelmed, I have this phrase, it's like a spiritual tool I use to support myself, and I'll stand there and I kind of take put my feet hip width apart. But whatever I do, it's like I center myself, I ground myself, I bring myself into the present moment. I take myself out of the loop of the past. I take myself out of the loop of the future. I bring myself into the present moment, and I say, what's the most important thing for me to do right now? Buckminster Fuller says it a little bit differently. He says, what are the most important thoughts that we can think in this extraordinary moment? What are the most important thoughts we can think in this extraordinary moment? We're totally and completely present. Not in the past, not in the future. We are right here. And right here in the right now, Pam Grout invites us into 3 big questions. It's the questions that move us forward. It's the questions that support us on the journey. It's the questions that are there at the threshold. It's the questions that are there in our trials and our learning experiences. It's the questions that are there when our old thinking dies, when we feel like we're dying. And it is the questions that are there when we are reborn to the new thought, the new idea. It's the questions that are there when we recognize and own our own wholeness. It's like, my goodness, if I'm whole, why am I so stressed about that? Those were just indicators that I was on the brink of owning my own wholeness. I can forgive those thoughts. I can forgive those habits. I can forgive that redundancy. I can be me. So here are the 3 questions. Number 1, what would I do if I couldn't fail? Would you call up that person that you have been thinking about and ask them on a date? Would you boldly apply for that job? Would you write that book? Would you run for public office? Would you go ahead and take those art classes? Would you go ahead and call someone you haven't spoken to in decades? Would you engage in forgiveness? What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? Question number 2, how can I step outside that little line society calls normal? And what is normal? What is normal? Is normal a 12 by 12 foot pacing block? Is it a corner of the room where we have worn out the rug with our own pacing? What is normal? Normal is thinking outside of that, into that big, beautiful expanse that is waiting to embrace us. Normal, it used to be normal for snowboard companies to make only snowboards for men. But Bev Sanders convinced Avalanche that women needed their own design and that women weren't optimizing their skills with boards that were designed for men. Normal was what Auburn University used to do with their architecture students, building little models of houses out of foam core and presenting them as their senior project until Professor Samuel Mockbee decided that architecture students could take those same skills and those same ideas and go out into rural Alabama and build real life houses. What is normal for you? And what and how can you take steps to get outside of that normal so that you can be in that beautiful expanse that is waiting to embrace you? And then number 3, what one thing can I do today to bring brilliance and wonder into my awareness? Here at Unity of Wilmington, Reverend Nikki and I remind you every week of 3 audacious truths about yourself. You are a beloved expression of God. You are here for a holy purpose. And you are here at the right place, right where you are by divine appointment. So you're at the right place at the right time right now. Remembering these 3 audacious truths brings us into the present moment. One thing, anything we do when we are completely present allows our brilliance and our wonder to shine. Your brilliance and your wonder in this present moment. Just take a breath. That's one thing you can do. Plant your feet. That's another thing you can do. Meditate if you have time. That's another thing you can do. These are all one things. Remember these truths. You are a beloved expression of God. You are here for a holy purpose. You're at the right place at the right time right now. All of these things bring us into the present moment. And in the present moment, we own our wholeness. So if all of this is something that interests you, and I'm thinking it does because you're still tuned in and watching, here's an affirmation that you can make. I use the directive power of my mind to bring boldness into my conscious thinking. I embrace fear as a messenger and then relinquish it. I cannot fail. I step outside the line society calls normal. I allow my brilliance and wonder to shine. Take another breath. Leverage those 300 individual conscious thoughts to invite your wholeness to come into your presence awareness, to invite coherence into that wholeness, to remember you own this. You've got that. You've got it. You have got it. And you will never look at the conditions that you are in with the same eyes. So let's now take that step of coming into a time of meditation. so we can allow all of this awareness, all of these remembrances of what we already knew to be true, to come into our conscious mind. Opening our heart, we relax, and if you're comfortable, close your eyes. Breathe gently, gently into your soul. You are stronger than you know. You are braver than you know. You are more courageous than you could ever imagine. Your heart beats steady and strong. Your breath is reliably coming in and going out. You are coming home to yourself in gratitude for lessons learned and in great excitement for the brilliance that you are, the wonder you have been created to be. You are good. You are whole. You are complete. Deeper and deeper into our heart we go, for into our heart is the beginning of the great journey of love, loving ourselves in gratitude for our environments that help shaped us, ready to focus, to leverage, to intensify tenfold every conscious thought we have of goodness, of joy, and of peace. Peace that allows us to stand in the midst of any condition, any circumstance. Journeying back up into our big, beautiful expanse, awaiting to embrace us, we come back lightly and with joy, with gratitude and with faith, owning our boldness, our courage, our strength, our capacity for endurance. Present in this moment, our brilliance and wonder shine forth. We cannot fail. We cannot fail. Bringing our attention back into our breath and awareness back into the strength of our own body, an awareness of the greater space, the room that is around us, the light that's shining, the darkness at night, the stars in the sky, the sun and the moon, the breeze, the colors of the trees and the grass, the aliveness of our environment. We say, thank you, thank you, thank you, God, and amen.
From that place of wholeness, we want to give gratitude to you for your generosity, for your loving notes, for your kindness, for your act of giving. And we know as unity that in giving we also receive, that we cannot give and not receive. So as you contemplate, as you reflect upon your giving this morning, this afternoon, whenever it is for you, we invite you to stand in your wholeness, to recognize your abundance in this universe, and to make the choice to give from a place of that wholeness, whatever it is for you. It is perfect, it is right, and it is complete. And allow yourself to really experience the feeling, the joy of giving, to know that our feelings are our aliveness. And give thanks for the very essence of that feeling.
that your fear seems to hide deep inside your mind. All alone I have cried silent tears full of pride in a world made of steel, made of stone. Well, I hear the music, close my eyes, feel the rhythm wrap around, take a hold of my heart. What a feeling, being's believing. I can have it all, now I'm dancing for my life. Take your passion and make it happen. Pictures come alive, you can dance right through your life. Now I hear the music, close my eyes, I am rhythm. In a flash, it takes hold of my heart. What a feeling, being's believing. I can have it all, now I'm dancing for my life. Take your passion and make it happen. Pictures come alive, you can dance right through your life. What a feeling. What a feeling, being's believing. Pictures come alive, you can dance right through your life. What a feeling.
Woo! Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Jared. Oh, and thank you for being with us.
Yes, today's daily word is love. And let's repeat together, I open my heart in love. Together?
I open my heart in love. If you would like prayer support in that opening of your heart, or maybe even relinquishing your fears and beginning, we are honored to pray with you. There's a number of ways to contact us. RevNikkiGolden@gmail.com. You can call us 910-763-5155. You can go to the prayer button on our website, unitywill.com. You can call Silent Unity. You are not alone. Trust me, you are not alone. You may feel alone, but you are not alone.
And it is our great honor to support you. And we want to remind you, although Mindy has said them already today, but it never hurts to hear again who and what we are. You are a beloved expression of God.
You are here for a holy purpose.
You are always in the right place at the right time, right now.
This week, as you go forth, Go forth knowing that fear is simply an indicator, a gauge, a waving flag, that the excitement that you feel, that tingling, is a reminder that you are in the right place on the journey that you're on. You're in the right place, and that you are on the brink of owning your own wholeness. Take good care of you.
We love you.